You know, it's funny. You pick up something like Meditations,
Mhm.
and it's almost 2,000 years old.
Right.
And it's not just some dusty old history book.
Yeah.
You know, it's Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
And it's like you can still open it up and find something that means something today.
Absolutely. And I think it's that personal aspect of it that's so compelling, right?
Yeah.
You're getting a glimpse into the mind of an emperor.
Totally.
Like, this is a guy who's wrestling with these massive, huge responsibilities.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
But he's also grappling with the same basic questions we all face.
It's like it's almost like eavesdropping on his like inner thoughts, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
These are his private reflections that were never intended for an audience.
Yeah.
And yet, you get this sense of universality.
It's true.
He's wrestling with these timeless dilemmas: how to find meaning, how to deal with suffering, how to balance duty with personal fulfillment.
And he's doing it, like you said, in the midst of all this craziness.
Exactly. I mean, that's where the context of his life is so essential for truly grasping the weight of these reflections.
Absolutely.
Because Marcus Aurelius, he wasn't some emperor chilling in an ivory tower, you know?
Right.
This was a man living in a world of constant upheaval. Wars, plagues, internal strife.
Right.
Just imagine the pressure he was under.
I can't even imagine. And yet he's trying to find this inner peace in the middle of all that.
Precisely. He's seeking a way to navigate these external pressures, all this chaos, and retain some semblance of sanity. And that's where Stoic philosophy, which had such a profound influence on him, becomes so crucial. It gave him this framework, these principles, this toolkit almost for dealing with the complexities of life, both as an emperor and just as a person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious about, you know, we talked about his upbringing a little bit, but like he was fluent in both Latin and Greek.
Ah, yes. That's such a crucial detail, and it speaks volumes about the cultural dynamics at play in the Roman Empire.
Okay.
You have to remember that while Latin was the language of administration of daily life in the Roman world,
Right.
Greek was still the language of intellectuals.
Really?
The language of philosophy.
So it's like even in the heart of the Roman Empire, Greek culture, particularly its philosophical traditions, still held this incredible sway. Wow.
And for someone like Marcus Aurelius, immersed in this world of ideas from a young age,
Right.
it makes perfect sense that he would gravitate towards Stoicism,
Yeah.
which, of course, originated in Greece.
All right. Of course.
And emphasized virtue, reason, and living in accordance with nature.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it all kind of comes together.
It's almost like his fluency in both languages represents this intellectual bridge, you know, between these two worlds.
I like that. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. The Roman and the Greek all coming together.
Yeah. So how does this young guy, fluent in both the language of power and the language of philosophy, how does he end up on the path to becoming emperor?
Well, that's an interesting story in itself.
Okay.
You see, Marcus Aurelius, he wasn't actually first in line for the throne.
Oh.
He was adopted by Antoninus Pius,
Okay.
who himself had been adopted by the Emperor Hadrian to secure the line of succession.
Wow. So it's like a double adoption situation.
Exactly. Can you imagine? It makes you wonder how Marcus Aurelius felt about this whole unexpected turn of events.
Right.
Was he excited about this responsibility, or was it more like, oh no, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's tough to say for sure, but we can get some clues from his writing.
Okay.
What we do know is that he took his role as emperor incredibly seriously. He saw it as a duty, a calling to serve the greater good.
Wow.
And this sense of duty, this commitment to virtue, it's all intertwined with his Stoic beliefs.
So he's like thrust into this world of power and responsibility at a young age, right? With this philosophy guiding him.
Yeah.
Emphasizing virtue, reason, accepting what he can't control. Like, what a crash course in Stoicism.
Talk about a high-stakes learning environment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? You've got Stoicism, which is all about virtue and reason and like being in control of yourself.
Yeah.
And then you've got, you know, this image of like a Roman emperor.
Right.
Which, I don't know, you don't always think of those things together.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
You've got this philosophy that emphasizes inner mastery.
Right.
And then you've got this position of, well, absolute power.
Right. Yeah.
But for Marcus Aurelius, it seems these two aspects of his life,
Yeah.
the emperor and the Stoic, they were completely intertwined.
Yeah.
He didn't see being emperor as a chance to indulge himself or throw his weight around.
Yeah.
It was about ruling with justice, with wisdom.
It's like Stoicism was like his moral compass
Exactly.
to like figure out how to use that power the right way.
Exactly, because Stoicism, it teaches that true power.
Yeah.
It's not about controlling other people
Yeah.
or even controlling events, really.
Yeah.
It's about mastering yourself,
Wow.
your own mind, your emotions.
So I get it, like in theory.
Yeah,
But how do you actually live that out?
right. And that's what makes meditation so powerful,
Yeah.
It's not just some theoretical, lecture on Stoicism.
Right.
It's Marcus Aurelius working through these ideas in real life,
Oh, wow.
in the trenches, you might say.
It's like he's using Stoicism as a way to make sense of it all.
Yes, exactly, to find meaning in the middle of everything going on around him.
Yeah. And one of those big Stoic ideas
Yeah,
is focusing on what you can control.
absolutely. That's a big one.
Yeah.
He's always reminding himself and us, really,
Right.
that we have very little control over what happens to us.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
But we have complete control over how we react.
So it's not about pretending things aren't hard, but deciding how we're going to deal with them.
Exactly. And that's where the Stoic idea perception comes in.
Okay.
It's this idea that it's not like things themselves that upset us.
Right.
It's our judgments about those things.
Okay, so like it's not actually the barbarian at the gate that's the issue. It's how we choose to see that barbarian.
Yes, you got it.
Wow.
And that's such a powerful shift, right?
Yeah.
Because it means that even when things are falling apart around us,
Right.
we still have this choice.
Wow.
We can find a kind of peace by focusing on our own thoughts and actions.
Which is way easier said than done.
Right, 100%. It takes practice, for sure.
Yeah.
And Marcus Aurelius, he's got all these different practices and reflections and meditations to try and cultivate that mental discipline.
Yeah.
He uses a lot of imagery and metaphors, which I love.
I like that, yeah.
Like one that always sticks with me, he compares time to a rushing river.
Okay.
He says, time is like a river made up of the events which happen and a violent stream. For as soon as the thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place, and this will be carried away too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's saying time, just like a river, just keeps going.
Exactly.
And all the good stuff, the bad stuff, it all just washes away eventually.
Yes. And for me, it's a reminder to not get too caught up in all the ups and downs.
Yeah.
To remember that everything's changing all the time.
Yeah. Like, be present, be here now, right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Appreciate this moment because that's all we really have.
Yeah.
And that awareness of how fleeting everything is.
Yeah.
It's a constant theme in meditations.
It's true. It's true.
Like he's always reminding himself and us,
Right.
don't miss out on what's right in front of you.
Which is so hard. Our world's so distracting, so anxiety-inducing.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get swept away by everything.
Totally.
To get stuck in our own heads.
Yeah.
And that's why I think meditation still resonates so strongly today, even after all this time.
It's true.
Because it speaks to this very human need for meaning, for purpose, for finding a way to navigate this crazy thing called life.
Yeah, with some grace, with some wisdom.
Exactly. It's a timeless message.
Reading Meditations, it's hard not to think about how it must have been for him to balance, like, being emperor, right?
Yeah.
With, like, the Stoic idea of focusing on what you can control.
Right.
Because he's got all this power, but then there's plagues and disasters and, like, things he couldn't actually control.
Yeah. I mean, it's a powerful reminder for all of us, right?
Yeah.
That no matter how much we try to be in control, there's some things you just can't change.
Yeah.
And Marcus Aurelius, he really seemed to get that.
Yeah.
He keeps coming back to this idea of acceptance in meditations.
Acceptance of, like...
Acceptance of the things we can't control. The stuff that's outside of our power. And it's not passive either. It's not just giving up.
Yeah.
There's this great quote, I think it's from book 5.
Okay.
He says, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens.
It's like you acknowledge what you can't control,
Yeah.
but you don't let it stop you. Right? You still choose how you move forward.
Exactly. It's about engaging with reality, however tough it might be.
Yeah, and adapting, right? Like you were talking about the wrestler earlier.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
He uses that metaphor
Okay.
of the wrestler adapting to his opponent's moves
Yeah.
to show how important it is to be adaptable.
Oh, okay.
He says, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing,
Wow.
meaning you got to be ready for anything life throws at you.
Be on your toes, be ready to adjust. And that's so relevant to, like, our lives too, right?
Absolutely. Things change so fast these days. You have to be able to adapt,
Totally.
to roll with the punches, to find your footing, even when things are uncertain.
Yeah. Like embracing the unexpected.
Yes, and seeing it as an opportunity to grow, to become more resilient.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You know, for me, one of the most powerful things in meditations
Yeah.
is this idea that happiness comes from within.
Yes, that's at the heart of Stoicism.
It's not about chasing pleasure or like avoiding pain all the time.
Right. It's about finding a deeper sense of purpose
Yeah.
and meaning in living a life guided by virtue, by reason.
Like that's something that really resonates, even now.
It's a timeless message, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it speaks to that deep human need for something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, totally. Marcus Aurelius might have been a Roman emperor, but he was asking these questions that we still ask
It's
today.
exactly about meaning, about purpose, about how to live a good life.
Yeah, it's been amazing to like dive into meditations with you.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine, truly.
To really uncover these timeless insights and see how they're still relevant today.
I'm so glad you think so.
So as we wrap up, I have to ask, what's like one piece of wisdom from Marcus Aurelius you would want our listeners to take away?
Ooh, that's a great question. You know, I think I would leave them with this.
Okay.
He says, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one.
Wow.
It's so simple, but so powerful, you know?
It's a call to action, not just to think about being good, but to actually do it.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for guiding us through this deep dive.
Of course.
It's been an amazing conversation.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me.